Do you have an interesting story about LAX?
I'll get to that. Rewind real quick, because if you want celebrity stories, Alex Soul's part in the movie, his iconic role in the Russian roulette scene, was actually written for J.K. Simmons.
Oh, wow. I like him.
I met J.K. Simmons, one of the small jobs I had. I was inspecting Teslas. And,
that's a cool job.
Yes. And the company knew it was J.K. Simmons. He just won an Academy Award at the time. And so they're like, we know you're the movie guy. And so I was like their #1 person to go do this kind of stuff. And so I went and inspected his Tesla. And it was like, I saw Whiplash like 2 days before, 3 days before.
Cool.
And I was like, man, I gotta take advantage of this opportunity. I didn't know how I was gonna take advantage of it, but I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna try to strike up a conversation and really try to connect with this person. Because that's a word of advice for people too. Like when you meet a celebrity or somebody that has clout, try to befriend them, try to talk to them as a human being. Don't try to get a photo, don't try to, even though you probably end up getting a photo, that's fine. Try to connect with them as a human being, as to where don't start acting stupid or I don't know, geek out on them too much, because if you're in this field, you're gonna see them again probably. And so really try to make a connection with them. So anyway, I'm going there the day of. I know I'm meeting J.K. Simmons. I know I'm inspecting his Tesla. I show up and I'm like, man, I really hope to connect with him. I show up, he's like, here's my Tesla. If you need anything, let me know. And he walks inside. I'm like, oh my God. I'm sitting there inspecting the Tesla. I can't think about my job at all. Of course, he's getting flying colors on the Tesla, trading the Tesla in. But then he basically came back out and I was like, he's like, are you all done? I'm like, yeah, but we need to take the car for a drive. And I came up with this on the spot. We don't have to take it for a drive. We need to take a drive, and I'm not comfortable driving your car, so you should drive, I think, and I'll ride shotgun. So I got him in the car to drive, and I was like, we drove around a little bit, and we were making small talk, and as soon as we get in the car, I'm like, I have to say I'm a little, I wanted to make him laugh. I was like, I gotta say I'm a little intimidated. I just watched Whiplash yesterday, and I just don't want you to yell at me, you know what I mean? So that's one of the reasons I didn't want to drive, you know? So I got him to laugh right away, which was good. And we drove around a bit, and I was like, well, I should see what it does on the freeway, you know? We ended up driving around for 45 minutes, and I ended up talking to him about everything, about how he started in LA and everything that he's done and all this kind of stuff. And yeah, it's very interesting to look back on it. But I befriended him. I ended up actually shooting a video with him that day, because I told him it was my sister. My sister's birthday was like in a couple weeks or something. But I told him, it's my sister's birthday coming up. Is there any way we could do like a little skit where I'm singing her? I talk to the camera. I'm singing her happy birthday, and then you interrupt me and go, hey, do it again. You're off key. Just like the movie, because I just saw the movie. And he agreed to do it. We shot the video right there in his like driveway. That day, he thought it was cool, and it was for somebody's birthday, so he was such a nice guy. And then I showed him at the time I didn't make WALLY. I had the trailer for Parole Officers, and I showed him the trailer for Parole Officers, and he giggled and laughed at that. And then I was like, I'm gonna make my first feature, you know. Is there any chance you might be able to, you know, stay in touch, and maybe there's a role in it, maybe there's not. And he said, yeah, that'd be fun, you know, just stay in touch, you know. And I already had his cell phone number because of the gig. And so we wrote the role in the movie for J.K. Simmons. That role was written for J.K. Simmons, and then J.K. Simmons was too busy to do it. He was off in Europe doing a movie or whatever, and so we ended up having to find somebody to do that movie, and that's how we found Alex Soul, who was a friend of Ronald Quigley, and Ronald Quigley, who plays Skaggs in the movie, suggested Alex Soul. I didn't know Alex Soul was even an option. I thought he was retired, but apparently he sent him the script, and once he read that part, he was in love with it, and he was like, I'll do whatever I have to do. I'll file the paperwork. I'll file the paperwork with SAG to get out and come back and do the movie. So he ended up doing it. So yeah.
Cool.
And yeah, on a plane flight, actually, I sat next to Jimmy Schmitz, and at the time I was very young. I didn't know what to do next. You know, I just moved to LA. I quit working for Todd Phillips and DreamWorks. I knew I wanted to act, but I really had no idea how to get started. You know, I had no idea how to get started with acting. And so I asked Jimmy Schmitz what to do, and Jimmy Schmitz said, you should go to this acting teacher and take acting classes. And so I went and I started acting school after that, after meeting Jimmy Schmitz on a plane and stuff. There's a lot of good ways for people to get educated out there on how to make it as an actor. There's a book called Cracking the Acting Code written by Taja V. Simpson that's a really great book that goes over, I mean, and she has been in the industry so long, she literally explains everything you need to do from start to finish, like, and so educational. And it's funny because when I first started out in acting in LA, people would charge you for consultations, like $100 for an hour, you know? And you sit down and they tell you what you need to do and whatever. And nowadays you just need to go buy a book like Cracking the Acting Code, and it breaks it all down for you, and you can read it over and over again if you want. But when I was, and I'm sure there was books then too, you know what I mean? But people, it's funny because our industry, so many people are making money on the underbelly of it, on acting classes and books and all these kinds of things. And so there's so much knowledge out there in a good way, but there's also so much knowledge out there in a bad way that you don't know what is the good information and what's the bad information. And so that's one of the reasons why I say that book, because it has a lot of value to it if you're just starting out. Or I think it has chapters where even when you're, you know, at a higher level, maybe you need to break through and you need more knowledge in that way as well. So.
Yeah, that's important because I think so many books are geared toward people just starting out, but what about people that are actually having continuous success?
Yeah.
And then who do you ask for help? Because I'm sure there's so many agendas and things people tell you.
Yeah, it's so interesting to me because like I didn't know what a guest star was compared to a I can't even think of the names now. Co-star role compared to a guest star role. You know, I didn't know what was the difference between a co-star role and a guest star role. You know what I mean? These are the kind of things that you learn in the book, and you should know what all those things are. You know, you should know what you're going out for and what sacrifices. You know, I learned like once you're going in for co-stars and you decide to go to guest stars, you don't go back to audition for co-stars. So like there's certain things like I had no idea, and I auditioned all the time. But when you read somebody like Taja V. Simpson's, she's gone all the way up the levels to learn all those kinds of things, so you can get all that knowledge and that you don't know. No, not a lot of people want to help you when you get to those levels. Yeah, it's funny because in the beginning everyone is willing to help you and try to help you to get to where you need to be, and a lot of the people helping actually have never been there. I found that every acting teacher I ever had like a co-star role in a TV show one time or something, you know, and they're selling it to the ends of the wheel. So the people at the top of the ladder, it's very rare that they share their knowledge, you know, especially on the business side of acting. I mean, the acting side, a lot of people will share. But the Cracking the Acting Code goes over everything, you know, which is a great book. You can get it at crackingtheactingcode.com. You can get it at Amazon. You can get it locally here at Samuel French, the bookstore, and Barnes & Nobles, I think, as well. So it's a lot of places you can find that. I'm sure if you just Google it, you get it on the website or at Amazon easily. But it's rare that somebody shares their knowledge when they're up there at the top, and about the business side of acting, which is very interesting, as well as the craft. So I find that with everything too. It's funny how that is. Artists and people, they feel very lucky to be where they are, and a lot of people that are naturally gifted, they're terrified that they have a secret and they don't want to tell everyone the secret, or that everybody can do what they do. They don't realize they're naturally so talented. So they usually don't want to share with other people or help people get to where they are, because usually there's a self-worth there that they don't feel secure enough to help other people. So
You talked about like sharing knowledge and wanting to be generous, and I think that's great. And I think there are people that want to help. I think the part that gets weird is some of the takers. There's so many people that want, like, you tell me how to do it so I can just jumpstart up here and I don't have to go through and pay my dues. So I think sometimes people are wary of that, and that's very understandable because there is that element here, and I hate to throw a bucket of cold water on it, but I think that's speaking truthfully.
Yeah.
And so I think that might be sometimes why people pull back, because they're like, okay, is this person, they want my help, but do they really want are they really going to do what I tell them would help them, or they are hoping I'm gonna pull them up with me and all the time I spent now I'm expecting they're just going to circumvent all that and come with, you know.
I totally understand that. I think it's funny because a lot of people don't want to pay their dues. We're in a world of instant gratification. When it comes to social media, when it comes to everything, it's instant gratification. And the truth is, if you want to be an actor, if you want to be a film director, it's a career and it takes time. And I've seen the only people that I know that are successful in the levels of like what they wanted to do, they put 15 years in working hard. I mean, Taja V. Simpson, who wrote that book, she's been working as an actress 15 years, you know, and she's finally now getting, you know, all the things she wanted to get, and it takes that much time. My sister, she's a big musician, ZZ Ward. She, you know, she's on her 3rd album, but her goal is to win a Grammy. You know what I mean? So it's like, it takes so much time to learn and to get there. And so, yeah, people, you get shortcuts by learning from other people, absolutely. If you can learn from other people. I think ego is a problem, is the way is, ego gets in the way, it's your greatest strength and it's your greatest weakness in this town. You need to have everything I was talking about as like a strong shell when people doubt you, but you can't have the ego to think that you're not learning. You know what I'm saying? So if you have this strength and belief in yourself, that is great. But the moment you think you don't need people or you don't need to learn something, that ego is your worst enemy, because you need to continue to learn and continue to get better. And that's the belief you need to have, is that you're going to get there and that you're going to learn how to get there. Not that you're the diamond when you walk into town, that you're just so shiny that everyone's going to love you, because that doesn't exist. You might be really good at acting in your small town in Nebraska, and now you're here around people that look just like you and they're just as talented and have more experience. So you better get the experience, and the only way for you to get that is to believe in yourself and to keep working hard to get it. So, and that's why I worked so hard on making Wally Got Wasted, and I hope everyone enjoys watching it on Amazon and rents and buys it. And please leave us a review. We really need reviews on Amazon. It really helps the movie. And you can also reach out to me if you want on social media, Adam William Ward on Instagram. And I try to respond to all the messages that people give to me. I don't always get a chance, so if I don't, I apologize. But if it's reasonable, I try to say thank you, or if people have questions, answer them back. With the movie, sometimes I get a lot, sometimes, you know, some days I get none. So I'll do my best. Adam William Ward on Instagram. So if people want to friend me, there you go.